Alright, so it's 10:33 p.m., 7th of July, 2024. Rags2Riches, and today is I'm gonna talk about something that I don't typically like talking about, and it's it's usually because it doesn't really make sense most of the time when you hear other people talking about it. Usually doesn't really make any sense, and usually it doesn't really help anyone when you talk about this, but because I've got nothing else to talk about today, we are going to be talking about how you should carry yourself as a man to be as attractive as possible to women, if that even fucking interests some of you, right? Like, now the reason why I don't typically like talking about this is because when you give advice on this stuff, I see it as you're putting a bandage on a wound that is all the way deep to the bone. You gotta fucking heal first. You gotta look at the core root of the issue, right? It's like trying to fix cancer with, I don't know, exercise. I don't know how the fuck I got to that example, but you get what I'm saying? It's like you're trying to fix such a big issue with like these weird bandage surface level strategies, which typically doesn't ever work because you're not that guy yet. So apart from being that guy, which is being disciplined and all that sort of stuff, what else can you do? On the surface, what can you do? All right. So first of all, you gotta be slower with or you gotta take your time, right? You gotta don't always be rushing from place to place to place to place. Now that's different. That doesn't mean that if you've got places to be, like, don't rush over to those places, but don't carry yourself with a nervous sort of like rush. Don't carry yourself like that. I'm not sure if you've seen any of the James Bond films like Skyfall or No Time to Die, but this guy, he's got times where he's rushing, he's got times where he's urgent, he's got places to be, he's running. But when in conversation, you never rush. Because when you rush your conversation, when you rush your social interactions, you tend to come off a little bit insecure, nervous, anxious, worried about whatever. And that is very, very unattractive, right? Now, another thing is when you're communicating, now it's really hard to fix this on the surface level because this is a deeper issue, but with a lot of people, you can tell when they're insecure. You can tell when this guy's nervous or this girl's nervous in conversation, just judging by the way that they sort of move their body, maybe judging by their vocal tonality, like they're speaking all the way up here. When you do that, it's so obvious that you're insecure, so obvious that you're nervous, and you don't want to, like, women don't want to be with a man that's like that. Another thing is you don't always want to be people pleasing, because people pleasing comes from a deep insecurity that you don't deserve to be liked, right? And I'm guilty of this myself, because obviously growing up in an Asian household, traditionally, like, it's pretty well known that Asian parents are very, very, they want you to be the best, right? They're always comparing you with other people. That's probably why I'm so competitive, but that's probably why when I was younger, I was also pretty insecure, because I didn't know whether or not I was good enough to be liked. And so I came up with the, what's the word? It's, I guess, coping mechanism to be nice to someone first. And if I'm nice to someone, if I make them like me, if I please them, then they will like me. Then I will deserve to be liked. But that's not the case, right? That's not the case. And fuck them if they don't like you. Like, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? That's That's it's okay if you're like 15 years old and 16 years old and you don't really have life experience yet. But if you're over the age of 18 and you're still in people-pleasing behavior, do something fucking hard. Do something that makes you respect yourself. And if you do that, you know, that people-pleasing behavior sort of simmers away, unless you need to go to therapy with some deep trauma. That I can't fix over a video, right? That's why it's such a deep-rooted issue. Now, before my phone storage runs out, because I know it will pretty soon, another thing is, when you speak, as a man, you have to speak from your diaphragm. I know a lot of people comment on my deep voice. I know it's you know, it's partly genetic, but obviously you don't want to force a deep voice, because obviously people can tell when you're forcing a deep voice. But as a rule, you never want to speak from your head. You always want to speak from your stomach, from your diaphragm. This is a concept in singing where you can sing from your head or you can sing from your diaphragm. Like opera singers, they sing from their diaphragm. They